We are at the 2014 Motor City Nightmares Convention. We've got another amazing show for you. Lou Temple, you know him from The Walking Dead, The Devil's Rejects, all kinds of other wonderful shows and movies. We've also got Tommy Brunswick, half of the Todd and Tommy team that brings you this incredible convention. So it's going to be a great show. Stay tuned. With me now is actor extraordinaire Lou Temple. You know Lou from CSI, NCIS, countless movies, and of course, The Walking Dead. Lou, I am absolutely thrilled to have you on the show. Thank you for taking the time. Let's jump right in and talk about one of the things that's hot for you right now, and that's The Walking Dead. You jumped on one of the most amazing shows of all time and had a hell of a run. Let's talk a little bit about it.
Well, The Walking Dead is a cultural phenomenon right now. It's moved past a kind of a genre in its popularity, in that it's available to everyone, and I think that it's a good show. Absolutely, it's written phenomenally. The production of it is exceptional, but I also think at its core it lands with a certain tone, not just in our country but also worldwide. Very few of us wake up every morning without having to get into survival mode. And what I mean by that is mortgage, debt, health care, the price of gas. And so I think the walkers, as we call them, or the zombies, are as much a metaphor for these obstacles in life day to day. And I think that is one of the real reasons the show lands. We're really easily able to put ourselves in the shoes of a survivalist. Maybe not as drastic as a zombie apocalypse, but certainly in just having to deal with day to day. Very few of us aren't dealing with a parent or somebody who's ill, with some health care, and have concern. And so I think The Walking Dead, as a phenomena with the culture, is very pertinent for right now. Also, there's a certain demeanor of apocalyptic demeanor in our country right now. People
Absolutely.
are waiting for the shoe to drop for some reason or another, and I think Robert Kirkman, creator of the show, has tapped into that. I think he's well aware of that and always has been. And so these are all absolutes as to why the show is so popular. The show itself is just such a gift to have been part of, to remain part of, because once you're on it forever and anon. And the thing that strikes me the most about The Walking Dead is how passionate the people are who work in it, and that crosses over into how passionate the audience is. I call the audience because I feel as a fan is not respectful enough, because the audience somehow or another informs the show as to what needs to happen. They may not think they want to see one of their favorite characters get gone on the show, but ultimately that there's a need for that, as does the show informs the audience. So I like to refer to them as the fourth wall cast member. And the show is made up of very passionate artists, from the producers to the writers to the directors, the cast, the camera crew, makeup, hair, wardrobe. Everyone shows up to work with a pep in their step, happy to be there, but also really focused on let's do better this week than we did last week, which is just a real bar that's set. And it was such an honor to be part of that. At the end of the day, and it's hard work, Jim, make no mistake. It is. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. We shoot. It's in the dead of summer. It is hot as Hades. We're out there all day, and we're busting hump to get it done. We have 10 days to shoot an episode, and we're only allowed to work 8 of those 10 days. So it's a sprint to get an episode done. And at the end of the week, the work week, the 10 days, there's such satisfaction in what we've accomplished, and we do it amongst each other, and we sit down and have dinner at the end of a show, an episode, exhale, and just recognize we really did something worthwhile. And that was, that was just such a delight and a gift to have been part of. There's no hierarchy or pecking order in the cast. There's no hierarchy or pecking order in the production. So everybody is welcomed in. Everybody is participates the collaborative process. Everybody is respected and invited, and it's amazing to be part of. So.
Well, Lou, I've got to tell you, you really put your fingerprint on the role, and to the point that I was shocked. I didn't think I thought you would continue. I thought that character, you brought some really interesting things to it, and I thought your character would continue.
Right.
And so I was stunned when you were knocked off, and you have to be proud of that. You really put your fingerprint on a
Well, that
on a
was
great
the
role.
intention. At that time in season 3, we're at a place just past the halfway mark where there was a certain level of comfort, or at least the production, the creators felt we were getting a little comfortable in the season, being at the prison, and we needed to pull the carpet out from underneath the audience, give them a gut punch, if you will. And of course, they went through a list of players that they considered, and my name was on that list, obviously. But it was not a definitive decision until they called me. And this was 3 weeks in advance of them having done it. And they said, Axel's going to go down. I said, oh no. And what you do first is you do this, what I call the denial dance. And you come up with ways or reasons why you shouldn't do this, or ways to circumvent it and get around it. My first reaction was, well, what about this Alan, this new guy? Why don't we get rid of him? Oh no, he's not as endearing as you are. And they kind of went through a list of some of the series regulars that they might take out. And then finally, when it gets down to we're doing this, you have to commit to it. It's a job, and then in order to honor your character, in order to honor Axel, I was adamant that I wanted to really commit to how this was going to go down and have a good job. And one of the things was that I wanted it to be shocking. I'm not really old enough to know the Kennedy assassination, but I certainly heard about it from my parents and my grandparents, and I certainly saw the Zapruder tapes, and that head kill was shocking. And so I did bring that up, and I offered that. They kindly invited me to the writer's room to build the episode. I declined because why mess up a good thing? They're doing fine. But I did offer that I thought that it should be a gut punch to take the breath away of the audience. And I was really proud with how we executed that. And the main thing on the task of the day was to not play the end of the scene at the front, as to not, indicate this was going to happen. So I showed up with a pep in my step, happy day, kind of sad. I wanted to offer that it's okay here at the prison. I like it. I like being told when to eat, when to lay down and sleep, and I wanted the show to have a moment of breath, and that was a big intention of mine with Axel all the way through in my run, was to bring a level of breath and a little levity, because the show is so dire so often and so desperate, and I wanted, let's crack a smile now and again, or let's just be okay. And in the moment then with Carol and talking about my brother, and he had a real money problem, he didn't lend me any, and began a story about a fishing trip that he didn't show up, and all these things, wham, there's a bullet to the head. So though I'm not, I wasn't happy about leaving the show, I was very happy with what we accomplished with Axel and how we sent him out. Yeah.
You absolutely left your mark on that. And I want to move on a little bit, because I want to talk about, you do so much other work, and this is definitely, we're here for a genre weekend, a horror convention. And of course you did the Devil's Rejects, and so you kind of have a nice reunion opportunity here. But CSI, NCIS, Walker, Texas Rangers, Unstoppable, Lawless, The Lone Ranger, all these type of movies make you an actor's actor. You switch characters. You do all this kind of stuff. Talk to me a little bit about the difference between working in the television, and it had to be, you tell me about the heat and the,
Yeah.
it just had to be, it has to be a very stressful working on The Walking Dead. Compare that to working with such things as Unstoppable, Lawless, fantastic movies. Talk about the difference between that day in, day out.
It's very
TV to
interesting.
film.
It's a good question, Jim, that you asked, because for a time I was of the opinion there wasn't, acting is acting, pardon me. But then when you really experience it, look, when you're on a film, you've essentially got 94 pages to 100 to land. So everything is important. Every word, every nuance, everything needs to leave an impression. You've got an hour and a half. On a television show, you've got a season. I learned from Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl on The Walking Dead. I call him Johnny Appleseed, because he throws seeds out for his storyline. The writers may grasp them, they may not. It's not in the script that there was a crossbow. He just happened in a setting, in a scene with a prop there, he happened to pick one up. It wasn't in the script to shoot a squirrel. He happened to do it. Or there's a motorcycle. These are all things the writers pick up on, and they grow.
Helps define them.
They grow roots, and they live. On a film, you're pretty pinned in with what you have to do. So you have, when I first came to The Walking Dead, everything I came in as a film, and I'd done television and guest star things, but I learned quickly, not everything has to land. You can throw things away. Certainly on big studio productions like Unstoppable, Lone Ranger, there's a lot involved. There's a lot of people, and it is a machine, and you are spoke in the wheel. And on a television show like The Walking Dead, you're part of it, not just for the moment, but for the long haul. Even if you're only on for 2 episodes, it's still you've come from somewhere and you're going somewhere. And it's not going to be at the end of an hour and a half when the popcorn's all done and I'm going to go to my car in the parking lot, as in a film. So I love them both. What's happened now, what we're experiencing now, is television has become so well written that it has become our new place of cinema. We're seeing cinema in our living rooms, watching television shows, The Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Mad Men, True Detective recently. The work is just as good. Actors are finding themselves crossing over into television all the time. I've had the great fortune of being able to work in both venues, and as you say, in the horror genre through the Rob Zombie work, as well as action movies like Unstoppable and Domino, period pieces like Lawless. And my thing, I really think the definition of me is that I'm on a journey in search of. A little bit like Bono, I still can't find what I'm looking for. But in the search, I've come to understand is discovery. And in each time that there's a discovery, that's a character. That's a character trait. So when I'm a welder chasing a train, I'm searching for that, but in the process I discover things that become it. I'm searching for Axel, and I'm on this journey, but I'm discovering so much that he wears his heart on his sleeve, that he's gregarious, that he has no filter, and speaks what the audience is thinking. You must be a lesbian, you have short hair, because everyone with short hair is a lesbian, right? Oh, you're not? Well, now I'm interested. So these are things, and I think that is why I've been able to chameleon a bit around my work, is the hope of discovery.
Lou, well, we have a few minutes here. I wanted to touch on something we talked about off camera, and that is kind of the wonderful event that this kind of convention is. And for a lot of people like yourself, a lot of actors like yourself, you've acted in so many films, done so much TV work, but it's the genre type things that have the conventions.
Yes.
Generally, you're not going to conventions for being in
Rango
right.
or Lone Ranger.
So
yeah.
you come here, and before I got an opportunity to meet you, I stood away from the table. People are coming up and asking for autographs, smiles ear to ear, chatting with you, and you're chit-chatting, they're taking pictures. You're really making these people's days. And in your presentation of acting with The Walking Dead, with The Devil's Rejects, you've made an impact on these people's lives.
Yeah.
So when you come to a convention like this, Tell me about some of the interaction you have and some of the things that happen with you for that.
Well, I love coming out and being amongst the audience, the fans, the people, because they are the reason. They're our lifeline, and I like having my finger on the pulse. They validate what we do. They validate what we don't do. Yeah, you kind of missed on that role. Really? How come? Oh, they're well informed. As much as anything, they're real. And when they come to me, they need to express something. I loved you. I couldn't stand your character, but I see you're a nice guy. I cried when you died. And I receive that with understanding, because a lot of that emotion is what I've had in doing it, or it's what I'm hoping to elicit from them, is that emotion. Oh, good. I'm sorry I made you cry, but that's exactly what I wanted to do. I'm sorry you did not like me, but that's exactly what I wanted to do when I raped that girl in Halloween. I wanted you not to like me. So there's a personal attendance to what goes on, but more than anything, it's really about being available. No, I've worked with Johnny Depp and Denzel Washington as much as I've worked with Bill Moseley and Rob Zombie. And no, they don't get to come out here. They can't. When you're out with Johnny having dinner, it's impossible. He is just sought after by everyone that knows he's around. So, but in this venue, you really get to meet people, and they are able to connect with you, and you recognize their families, and you recognize them and their jobs, and it's heartwarming. It also serves my work. There are times I need to meet welders, I need to meet plumbers, I need to meet rednecks and working men. I need to meet lawyers and attorneys, because somewhere along my world I'm going to be, presenting them. So it's great. This show in Detroit here has been fantastic because it's established. Everyone comes out with a glad hand. I think folks in Michigan are typically very friendly and hospitable and magnanimous, and so I think they put their best foot forward. Chicago, the Midwest, typical, very typical. Our shows on the West Coast are a little bit less because we're out there. You can meet me filling up at gas at the Arco station. Hey, I liked you on The Walking Dead. Thanks. Yeah, your pump's done. Oh, yeah. But so Midwest, East Coast, down south, those shows are great, and it's a great opportunity to meet the fans and for them to meet me. And I know that you don't get to always do it, and you're right about the genre having its availability. It's crazy. There's a convention every weekend if you wanted to go out. If you wanted to be away every weekend, you should do a horror film, because that'll take you out. That'll be great.
Absolutely. Well, Lou, I'm really appreciative that you came on the show, but I want you to be able to tell your fans at home how they can learn more about you, websites, Facebook, anything you want to promote.
Yeah. There's so much. I've been really busy with the independent film market. When I say that, doing some indies. I love independent films because there's a story to tell, and I really do act to tell stories. I have a movie that's out now called Wicked Blood with Sean Bean, Abigail Breslin, and you can get that at Redbox even now. Okay. It's out now, and it's Breaking Bad meets Donnie Brasco. It's crystal meth in a family way. So it's great. I have a movie coming out May 1st called Night Moves, with Jesse Eisenberg, Dakota Fanning, Peter Sarsgaard. It's an ecological thriller, and it's quite good, and I'm really excited about that. I just finished a film called Desierto, which will be a while before it comes out, down in Mexico, with Jonas Cuarón, and produced by Alfonso Cuarón, who is the Oscar-winning director this year for Gravity. That was a great experience, working with Gael Garcia Bernal and Jeffrey Dean Morgan on a migration border patrol story. You can find me on Twitter, Lou Temple Actor. That kind of lets you know what's going on. I have a Facebook page. It's a fan page, but I always get messages, and I respond to them. That is Lou Temple, Facebook. Check me out, imdb.com, Lou Temple, on my IMDb page. They are really good about keeping current with what I have going on. So yeah, you'll see me around and keep it moving. and it's always good to be out with the public, you know, and that's good for the public to be with us. Sometimes when you're out in a location, some obscure place, and you're lonely, and you remember the fans. You'll say, I'll be in Detroit one day, and there'll be a lot of people, and we'll talk, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, excellent. Lou, it's been a real thrill to have you on.
My pleasure.
I'll make sure we drive the fans to your websites, to your films.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for all the entertainment
We'll keep
you brought me over the
tuning
years.
in. Keep watching. You follow me?
Thanks so much for watching Cult Pop. We'll be right back. With me now is Tommy Brunswick, Director Extraordinaire, and half of the wonderful Todd Brunswick and Tommy Brunswick, the team that brings you Motor City Nightmares, this incredible convention. Tommy, thanks for taking the time on this very busy weekend to say a few words with me and talk a little bit about the convention. You've knocked another one out of the park. in incredible turnout, incredible guests. Tell me a little bit about this year's lineup.
Oh, this year's lineup. It was really hard to put together, but because we want to try to do it different every year. But we have our anchor people that we just love, and like Dee Wallace, Kane Hodder, Ken Forey's one. The main thing about those people is they're always working, so they always have new stuff. So they have new fans like Dee Wallace's recurring character on Grimm, but she plays the werewolf's mom. So, so you know, we have a great rapport with them. And that's like family. So a lot of new people come in because they hear at other conventions or they hear from other people that, oh, you got to go to that convention. So sometimes we have people call us. Like Michael Rooker last year, they called us like 6 times before we said, yeah, okay. You know, and it was like, it was a huge hit for us. You know, I was like, oh, well, then good, I'm glad. And he called us.
Well, this year you've brought another Walking Dead alum in Lou Temple. He's been incredibly popular. Tom Noonan.
Yeah, I love Tom. He's good.
Jeffrey Combs. So an incredible lineup this year.
He's
the
awesome.
Buseys, and people are going nuts about that.
Yeah.
Jake and Gary being here. So what's the feedback been for you so far?
There hasn't been, I don't think, any negative feedback. The only, everything is positive. The only bad feedback is they want a bigger venue because it's getting crowded.
Well, this has been a wonderful home for, this is the 7th or the 6th
This
now?
is the 6th one.
Oh, 6th
yes. And it'll be our home from now on, but we're probably going to take the whole 2nd floor next year and create a larger film festival.
Oh, excellent.
And then
excellent.
downstairs will be vendor. We'll have a couple more vendor rooms, and we're going to have a filmmakers lounge. So it's going to be, that's where the panels will be held, and the filmmakers from the different movies will be there. You know, they can come in and hang out and mingle with each other. So it'll be like for the filmmakers too. Because that's one of the reasons why we did this, is because of our movies and to help other independents.
Excellent.
So.
Now, one of the big things of the convention is the Saturday party. We have a great time. I'm fortunate enough to be the MC for the event. I get to announce, have a lot of fun with that. And you announce a Miss Motor City Nightmares, Best Tattoo Contest, stuff like that. And you've actually created an incredible award headdress for the Miss Motor City Nightmares this year.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
talk about some of the fun that is and the new headdress.
It's been great having a Miss Nightmare, because it's like she embodies what Motor City Nightmare is, you know, because she has to be sexy and strong and, you know, just really cool. You know, it's not sleazy. It's just like one of those, like a Ripley character, really strong, but they're, you know, usually they're really pretty. And the crown, every year I would just hodgepodge things together. So this year I decided to sculpt the crown myself. So I sculpted this thing. I like it, but I look at it and I'm like, I am so a child of the 80s. It looks like something out of a Ronnie James Dio video.
Yes, it does. That's funny, yes.
So
now, that'll be, from now on, that'll be kind of the
that'll be the crown.
tradition.
I'll do different colors on the crown and stuff, and I'll put the dates on it. So.
And something I wanted to talk about, that I get to interview you quite a bit for these, and you know we're friends, but we don't talk about the music, and the music is a big part of this, both Friday and Saturday night. And you and Todd are very cool about having some local bands on, and you gave a young band kind of a start at an earlier production you had at Halloween. The Crooks band.
Hooks and Crooks.
Hooks and Crooks, and they just kind of stole the show, and so
Yeah.
they're going to be a part of tonight's events.
Tonight's event,
so
right.
talk about some of the live music and why that's important to you.
It's so important because, again, everything relates to each other, everything we do. So the music has to be a part of Motor City Nightmares, and it has to, like, you know, blend with it. And like Gutter Ghouls, Hooks and Crooks, Amino Acids, Casket Bastards, they, on top of being our friends, they're just amazing musicians. And sometimes they work on with other bands, and we have them come in. We do have some other new bands, but we're very particular, you know. And the bands, they get a table and they can sell stuff all weekend. So it's a fun thing, you know, and it's good. And we also have used some of the music from the bands in our movies.
In the movies, yeah.
And that's great, because the funny thing is, whenever our movies go out, especially internationally, we get people always asking, who's this band, who's this band, who's this band? So
that's
it's
kind of
good.
neat.
Yeah.
Well, we're just about out of time. I want folks at home that are watching this that want to learn more about the whole Motor City Nightmares and all the stuff that goes on. The year-round, there's stuff going on now.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, yeah,
there's
now we
different
do it year-round,
shows
yeah.
and stuff. So tell people, big presence, great website, and we'll link up to that. You're also on Facebook.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that real quick.
Okay. Yeah, we're trying to do something every few months. So we might even do like a 48-hour film challenge. We're thinking about doing that just for us, because we are going to do our own distribution.
Okay.
So I think that would be a cool thing to do, because there are so many independent filmmakers here in Michigan that I would just love to see some of the talent and see what they can bring. So, you know, that's
fun.
exactly. So instead of the zombie bikini car wash, sorry.
Well, that was popular.
I know.
I was a fan of it.
It was popular,
That's right.
but, you know, it just didn't bring in as many people creatively and everything else we wanted, you know. Just a lot of guys that wanted to see girls in bikinis that are zombies.
So let people know the website
Yeah.
and Facebook and all that, how they can learn more about all this cool stuff.
MotorCityNightmares.com, and then on Facebook we're Motor City Nightmares. That's the best way to get a hold of us, because really you get directly to us. So
Excellent.
that's the best way.
Tommy, thanks so much for being on the show. I know it's a super busy day for you. And thanks so much for putting together another wonderful convention. It's a great time. I have so much fun here. Jerry and the whole crew.
Well, I want
We
to
have a great
thank you
time.
for being a part of it with
Well,
us.
it's like
because-
family. It's like you said earlier.
Yeah.
We're a big family over the years, and we have a
Yeah,
great
but
time.
it's like everybody that, it's just like in a movie. It doesn't matter who you are in the movie. Everybody makes it happen.
Absolutely.
So you guys are a big part of it. So thanks.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Stay tuned for more Cult Pop. What a great show. And I know you don't expect anything less when we're at Motor City Nightmares. Lou Temple, thanks for being on the show. What a great guy, great interview. Love his work in The Walking Dead. Love his work in The Devil's Rejects. Love his work in everything. So what a thrill to have him on. Tommy Brunswick, she's half the brains that makes this whole thing happen. Always happy to have her on. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, you want to see other programs we've done, go to the website, cultpop.com. You can see every show we've ever done, and you can click on and get information about every actor, director, writer, comic book artist that's been on. So I encourage you to visit the website, and I encourage you to watch more Cult Pop.
Wow.